Tamar Braxton completely upended the DNA narrative by revealing that Mendeecees believed Harris to be the baby's biological father in a moment so emotional the studio walls nearly collapsed. She threw the papers onto the table and declared that all of the test lines, markers, and figures now pointed directly to him and no one else. Her voice was shaking from sheer rage. Yandy Smith's expression went icy as soon as Tamar finished speaking. With her fingers pointing like a loaded weapon, she sprung out of her seat and exclaimed that the whole thing was a total hoax. A desperate scheme to destroy her family and drag Mendeecees back into the mess. The room split in two at that moment. Sitting motionless, Mendeecees' eyes dart between the two women as if he were seeing the burning of his whole existence. Tamar was adamant that she would not give up because she had the real results. The ones that were hidden. The ones that exposed the reality that everyone tried to hide. Yandy's voice grew louder as she charged that Tamar's disregard for science was ruining their marriage. The phones started blowing up. Even when they weren't in the building, family members began to call, email, and ask for answers. Tamar's shocking claim is immediately supported by one side, while she is publicly accused of lying by the other. As the tension grew, you could feel the betrayal in the air. No one knew who to believe. The DNA findings between the two ladies were like a ticking time bomb. They continued to maintain that they were the only ones speaking the truth. Careers would be in jeopardy, the entire circle would be upended, and everyone would have to choose a side before the evening was up. Yandy Smith circled like a leopard about to charge, while Tamar Braxton stood over the table with the DNA data still in her palm. Harris seems to have just witnessed the catastrophic collision of his past, present, and future, according to Mendeecees. These numbers are correct, Mendeecees. The stress in the studio may have broken a steel cable, as Tamar shouted and pointed to the report with her finger. "This child carries your blood," Yandy said, interrupting her so fast that the word almost slapped the air, as everyone in the room knows. "You came into this room with a dream, and you want me to succumb to your intense need for attention. That paper is worthless, and you are trash for showing it out like a trophy." Mendeecees finally heard his faint, cracked voice. "Please, sweetie." "You two just stopped," he murmured, but the two women ignored him. "Until reality sinks in, there can be no calm," Kumar said, tears streaming down her cheeks. The open Yandy laughed loudly, echoing off the walls. "You want peace now that you sat silent while they attempted to erase your own child," she said. "In this case, the only thing that is real is that you have been waiting for a chance to come back into our life and destroy everything we have made outside of the studio." Group discussions about families sprang out like fireworks, and the phones at the door were already ringing. One of Yandy's relatives described Tamar as a house wrecker, to which Tamar's sister retorted, "Wrecking liar," claiming that Yandy had been hiding skeletons for years and that the internet would reveal every single TV bone. Fans flooded the comment sections in a matter of minutes, and Yandy muttered, "If you ever speak my husband's name in the same sentence as that baby again, I will make sure every door in this industry closes on you forever," as she moved so close to Tamar that their noses nearly touched. Instead of retreating, Tamar leaned in closer. "Your perfect little fairy tale is over when they land. Therefore, you'd better start packing since the real DNA results have already been sent to every blog and attorney." Mendeecees stood up hastily, and both women froze for a second when his chair fell. His eyes were so painful that the building became silent for a time as he looked at Tamar and then Yandy. "I didn't know it wanted any of this." He spoke, but his voice was hardly audible. "But I have a right to know if that test is trustworthy. Furthermore, someone in this room is playing a game that might destroy everyone if he is phony." For the first time, Yandy's face contorted, on the verge of tears, but she blinked them away, concentrating all of her fury on Tamar. "You compensated someone you've always hated for choosing me. You stitched this, and now you're willing to harm a defenseless child to gain points." "I didn't plan anything," was Tamar's cold, uncompromising reply. "Science doesn't care how you feel, even if you shout lies all night long. The lab finished the work, and your husband's numbers match exactly." At that moment, one of Mendeecees' old street pals entered the studio and presented his own phone as evidence. "Hey, the bloggers have screenshots already. After someone leaked the first page, people are going crazy outside the building. Security was restraining a small number of fans. Some were yelling Tamar's name, while others were urging Yandy to stop it. Yandy went for her bag as if to go, but Tamar stopped you before you could stop the energy that had flooded into the hallway. The audience will learn whether Mendeecees believes Yandy withdrew as the man held her arm tenderly. A father who is there is what the child deserves. The companion who had tried to mediate the situation while walking said, "Everyone needs to breathe and wait for the official lab confirmation," but Yandy was passed. "It looks like you're picking the woman who just tried to blow up our entire lives, so don't touch me until you've decided which side you are on." The entire performance is a setup, and she turned to face the still-rolling cameras and spoke straight into the lens while listening. And when the real results are disclosed, Tamar Braxton will be exposed as the biggest liar. In this series, Tamar's response has always been to open the covers so the camera can record each remark and let the audience make their own assessment. There was a tangible sense of betrayal, and I'm done standing up for people who have never stood up for me. Online fans were already making movies after the scars from years of sidelong glances and whispers were abruptly exposed. Some are combining the stolen photos with old footage of Yandy and Mendeecees fighting, while others are discovering old recordings of Tamar talking about family secrets. When Yandy's closest friend texted her Mendeecees, the group communication broke down, and neither of the ladies seemed ready to stop the tale from collapsing in real time. Yandy read the note out loud in a poisonous voice, and while half of us think Tamar has finally lost it, the other half think there could be more going on. Many people in my own social circle are doubting me as a result of your actions, and Tamar took revenge. Maybe one of your group members finally realized this. A producer whispered in the background that this was television gold as the cameras rolled, and the studio's lights looked hotter. One lady also glances at Mendeecees, but the three people in the middle of the storm felt as if the ground was shattering beneath them. For the first time in years, he didn't seem to know which option would cost him the least when the next wave of notifications hit every phone in the room at once. The other is like a person stuck between two hurricanes. After hearing that one comment, Tamar and Yandy both stopped in place, as if the stakes had suddenly become too high for either of them to bear. The most recent warning suggested that a second Dina report was on its way. The much-anticipated second Dina report hit every screen in the studio like lightning, and the silence that followed was louder than any scream. Tamar Braxton was the first to grab her phone, her eyes darting over the new numbers, while Yandy Smith stood still as if the floor had vanished beneath her feet. When Harris goes in close enough to read over Tamar's shoulder, Nindy notices that his face disappears so fast that it seems like a plug has been withdrawn. The new data shows that the exact same match, chance was 99. 9% pointed straight at him again, but this time the lab stamp was different. The chain of custody documents mentioned a second autonomous institution, although that was at a later time. You have to pay 2 labs for this swindle. Yandy was the first to recover and let out a loud cry. "I'll show you how to stack the deck if it's my last assignment." Tamar turned the phone so the cameras could record each number. The science has doubled down, but you may call it a lie till your throat hurts. Then explain why this child has marks from your husband from 2 distinct buildings in 2 different locations. He was crushed by the weight of the occasion, and Mendeecees observed that he was using both hands to apply pressure to his temples. "I have to speak with the laboratories personally. Rather than depending on screenshots that are making the rounds on the internet, I need to hear it straight from the people who carried out the testing." Tamara phoned a publicist on her own and asked for a full press release within an hour, while Yandy was already on the phone with her lawyer, asking an immediate injunction to stop further revelations. As the mob pushed 3 supporters up against the barricade, others were yelling Yandy's name like a battle cry, while another group gathered behind Yandy outside the building, demanding that the reports be completed, while another group gathered behind Tamara, murmuring that the truth had finally been revealed after years of denial. Some of them had flags that said truth over loyalty. The number of live broadcasts is growing every second, and a famous blogger is screaming into her phone that this infant upheaval will bring down the whole love and hip-hop universe. A studio producer tried to defuse the situation by suggesting a commercial break, but neither of the two ladies took him seriously, and Yandy withdrew into Tamara's personal space, cutting the air with her finger. "I won't let you win. You've been against me since Mendeecees chose to live with me, and now you're using a helpless youngster as a weapon." Tamara's reply was melancholy and resentful. "I don't have to win. The person who denied the truth for years is the only one losing tonight. The Dina used to do it." Finally, Mendeecees observes an explosion, shattering the calm he had been attempting to preserve. "It has nothing to do with your dispute or your cameras. You two should take a moment to stop talking. This relates to a child to whom I could be related, and if it's true, everything changes for all of us." Someone's phone began playing a leaked audio clip, and the powerful song of his voice frightened them into a brief hush long enough for another alert to resonate through every gadget. Yandy's countenance twisted with complete disbelief when the second sample was processed in accordance with the correct technique and the lab worker's voice indicated that the match was strong. When the woman's face appeared, Yandy Smith and Tamar Braxton tensed up, and the screen broke as she screamed that the audio had been altered. She then seized the phone and hurled it against the wall. The technician calmly and collectedly stated that an emergency test had been issued by mutual legal demand and that preliminary markers were already being processed, even though the complete result would not be available for another 48 hours. That one delay blew away the last shred of self-control. "Is 48 hours too long for you to continue destroying my marriage with these fake documents?" Yandy Smith yelled, pummeling the table with her fist until the lights shook. Harris moved between them, according to Mendeecees. "Before you spent years pretending to be the only woman who ever mattered in this man's life, you should have thought about the fact that reality does not follow your schedule," Tamar Braxton remarked without skipping a beat. Again, he lifts his neck with both hands, revealing veins that like wires. "I have to accept whatever the data show." Tears started to well up in Yandy's eyes, but they did not fall. "You two are currently using this child as a weapon as well." She thrust a finger into his chest, proclaimed herself human, and begged him to stop staring at us and go out of our lives. "Is my fault?" Tamar laughed. A sharp sound shattered the tension. "He seems guilty because of the reality of the blood. And in his heart, he already feels it." The studio's entrance reopened. This time, a compilation of fan remarks was already playing on a tablet when Tamar's older sister rushed in. They were scrolling so fast that the comments were becoming hazy. Some viewers praised Tamar as a hero for seeking the truth, while others regarded her as a crafty villain who waited for the right moment to attack. In one clip, a well-known radio host said that the whole thing smelled like a ratings grab. In another, as Mendeecees acknowledged months of suppressed worries, his lifelong pal cursed in real time. Yandy glanced at the iPad for 3 seconds on a late-night drive before setting it aside. "I don't care what other people think on the internet. This is my family. And regardless of the number of viewpoints, I will never accept a lie." The friend who had come earlier attempted to defuse the situation once more by reminding everyone that a child was in the middle of the storm. But Yandy tricked her too. "You have no right to lecture me about children when you have been providing me with softer information behind my back." The excitement hit the friends like a slap, and they staggered back, denying everything. But the damage had already started to spread. The team suspected that sides were being chosen in real time and that careers would not withstand the consequences. Mendeecees attracted both women to a more relaxed section of the performance. His voice carried a profound pain. "This cannot happen in front of the cameras. If we can't take ownership of the child, the attorneys will write comments about it for the rest of its life." Tamar relaxed and put her hand near his arm for a little while. "I didn't come here to cause trouble. I came here because silence was starting to look like participation in illegal activity." Something inside Yandy cracked as she saw the gesture. She grabbed Mendeecees by the jacket and pulled him back. "You're not comforting the woman who just tried to burn our house on fire. You decide for yourself." At that moment, in front of every moving camera, their passion was greater than any Dina report. Mendeecees opened their mouths to speak, but nothing came out. The camera zoomed in to catch every hesitant moment on his face as the mob outside began yelling anti-opposition shouts. One side's boisterous Tamar exposed the truth. In response to Yandy's position, strong security radios on the other side buzzed with news that more people were arriving, including some well-known characters from earlier seasons who saw opportunity in the chaos within the facility. A junior producer murmured that the network bosses were already discussing an emergency special as another crew member surreptitiously captured reaction shots of the remaining cast members who had gathered in the green room. Some individuals were frightened when the train crashed, while others were thrilled. Yandy's jacket could not be taken off by Mendeecees. A deadly stillness greeted her words. "If you can't look me in the eye and tell me that the claims are untrue, we're done tonight. For everything family, marriage, etc." The voice of Tamar was steady and icy. Furthermore, if he says they are untrue, he will be lying to the one person who may still be connected to him. The triangle remained where it was. 3 hearts pounding, 3 futures hanging on the next words. Anyone can choose to speak at that exact moment. Another alert was shown on the phones.